Today, we are going to discuss about the types of public policy. In the previous class, we discussed about what are public policies and how it will work in economics and the economics of public policies. Today, let's see about the types of public policies. There are different kinds of public policy or types of public policy, like substantive public policy, regulatory public policy, distributory public policy, redistributory public policy, then the capitalization of public policies. And there are so many other types of public policy also. The major five are these. So let's see these major five public policies one by one. The first one is the substantive public policy. These policies are concentrated with the general welfare and the development of the society. The programs like provision of education, employment opportunities, economic stabilization, law and other enforcement, anti-population legislation, etc., are the examples of these kinds of public policies. These substantive public policies are formulated basically for the general welfare. These policies have a vast area of operation affecting the general welfare and development of the society as a whole. These do not relate to any particular or privileged segments of the society. Such policies have to be formulated keeping in view the prime character of the constitution, socio-economic problems, and the level of moral claims of the society. This kind of public policy, as we mentioned, it is for the general welfare without any kind of discrimination, and no privilege will be given to any people. It is equal rights for each and every citizen in that particular country. For example, the general educational policies, general health policies, all the citizens in that particular region are equally eligible for that particular policies and they will get benefit out of it. There are other kinds of policies like regulatory public policies. This is the second kind of public policy, which is totally different from the substantive public policy. A regulatory public policy that impose limits on the behavior of some identification groups or individuals, which reduce the freedom of discrimination to act or not to act. It's usually the result of conflict between two or more groups. There are clearly identifiable winners and losers. Carries within section, for example, regulation of criminal activity, business activity, access to public goods, gun control, consumer protection, FDA regulation, drugs, etc., are coming under this particular category. The regulatory public policy, as we said, it is to regulate something. It will restrict the freedom of the citizen to do something or not to do something. For example, if a particular product or thing which will affect the common security of the society, or it will affect the national security itself, then there will be restriction from the part of the government. For example, the usage of arms and ammunition are restricted by the government for the national security, and the use of drugs, alcohol, and other materials for the security and the safe of the society. So to restrict or to do what to do or to decide not to do, it is by the regulatory public policies. And the next kind of public policy is the distributory public policy. A distributory public policy that benefits some people but not discriminable cost to others. Allocate government benefits to individuals, groups, use of public funds, little direct competition or challenge from other groups, no direct cost to any identifiable group, clear winners but no clear losers. Example, agriculture subsidies, government-sponsored research, river improvements, etc. These kinds of public policies are also kinds of public policies which is for the welfare of the society. But unlike the substantive public policy, it is restricted to a group or an individual. For example, if it is agriculture subsidy, only farmers will get benefit out of it, not the business sector or any other sector. like the river improvements. The improvements in the river will benefit those who are living nearby the river or depending upon the river water for their welfare. So it will not affect each and every citizen of the country. Then the next one is the redistributive public policy. This is the fourth kind of public policy, a policy that makes a deliberate reallocation of resources among identifiable social groups. There are clearly identifiable winners and losers. Power is redivided between haves and have-nots. Difficult to enact because of strong opposition from potential losers. Example, welfare, housing subsidies, progressive income tax, social security, medical aids, etc. It's also a welfare kind of public policy, which is similar to the distributive. But in case of distributive, if only one group is getting benefit, means the other will not be a loser. But in case of redistributive public policy, one group get benefit means they are the clear winners, and the other group who are not getting the benefit is considered as losers. For example, if it is housing subsidies, those who get subsidies are considered as winners, and those who are there in the list but not eligible to get the subsidy are considered as losers. So there is a clear discrimination of winners and losers in the case of the redistributive public policies. But in case of the distributive public policy, these division will not be there. Even though the agriculture sector is getting benefit through the agriculture subsidies, the business will not have any lose, or they are not losers. But in case of redistributive public policies, it is clear there is a winner and a loser. So the next kind of public policy, or the last type of public policy, is the capitalization public policy. Under the capitalization policies, financial subsidies are given by the union government to the state government and the local governments. Such subsidies are also granted to the central and state business undertakings or some other important spheres if necessary. Capitalization policies are different in nature than substantive, regulatory, distributory, and redistributory public policies, as no provision for public welfare services is made through these fees. All the other public policies aimed for the general welfare. In case of capitalization public policy, it is not for the general welfare. Even though it is welfare oriented, it is not for the general. It is not directly from the government to the people. It is by the central government to the state government, then to the local government, like that. And it is for the capitalization, giving capital or the basic fund for the development activities. So these are the major 5 different kinds of public policies, like substantive public policy, regulatory public policy, distributory public policy, redistributory public policy, and the capitalization public policy. Hope all of you understand these 5 kinds of public policies. Thank you.